You know, that 4 threshold is very tough. It's a very tough thing, no matter who it is. I said there's only one person that can do it all the way. You know who that is? Jesus Christ. If Jesus came down and said, I want to be Speaker, he would do it. Other than that, I haven't seen anybody that can guarantee it.
Ain't nothing changed, nothing new here to see. This ain't nothing but some political maneuvering.
America.
Welcome to the eulogy, eat it up. It's called political buffoonery.
Hey there, everybody, and welcome to This Week in DUMBmocracy, where we showcase some of the dumbest newsmakers of the week. 3 weeks, everybody. That's how long it's been since the House of Representatives has been without a speaker, and it's been chaos ever since. We've had Speaker-Designate after Speaker-Designate, and today was probably the wildest day in this entire saga. We're going to break down all the buffoonery for you, but before we do, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any other shows, and if you like what you see and hear in this video, please smash that thumbs up button, like, comment, share the show with your friends, all that good stuff. This was a bumpy ride. You know, in watching all this unfold today, and we're going to get into all the details, but watching it all unfold today, I was reminded of a line from 1776, the musical.
I have come to the conclusion that one useless man is called a disgrace, that 2 are called a law firm, and that 3 or more become a Congress.
I mean, does that not fit this scenario or what? Congress has been absolutely useless. It's been paralyzed for weeks now as the Republicans try to get their you-know-what together. And they tried to do that earlier yesterday when Tom Emmert emerged victorious out of the conference vote for the 3rd Speaker-Designate. You may recall we had Steve Scalise. He lasted about 30 hours, didn't make it to the House floor. Then we had Jim Jordan, who went 0 for 3 on the House floor. So Emmert put his hat in the ring, and he won in the conference. But then trouble began again, and frustrations were definitely bubbling over publicly. It looks like almost immediately, opposition started emerging against Emmert's designation as the Speaker nominee. And Kevin McCarthy, the former Speaker, went out into the press to express his frustrations over what was going on.
What's your understanding for the folks in the room who are holding out? Why?
Well, what Tom is doing right now is having those who have a difference of opinion to come up and directly ask him what is the problem and see if he can solve it. And that's the best way to handle it instead of going to the floor. Try to see if we get to...
Is this the same opposition you faced? Is it the same people who ousted you that are opposing him?
No, I only had 8 against me.
So it was clearly more than 8. In fact, it ended up being over 20 members of Congress in the GOP conference who were against Emmert being the Speaker-Designate. And apparently Emmert was trying to quell those concerns from that opposition, and McCarthy was out here facing the press, and man, does he look despondent or what?
Usually at this conference, any number of people can always just come together to form an opposition. It feels that way.
We're in a very bad place.
Should he wait until he has 217 votes to go to the floor?
I would. I'd have that discussion here. That's exactly what he's doing right now.
So
why do you say you're in a very bad place? It's a pretty strong phrase to use. Why do you think you're in a bad place?
We've been 3 weeks without a speaker. We let 8 people work with every single Democrat to put us in here to go directly against what our conference rules say, that if you do a motion to vacate, you have to have 50% of the conference. And so now we're in a situation where remove the Speaker, remove the Majority Leader from being Speaker, remove Jim Jordan from being Speaker, every single person that's won. And now we just gone through a battle with elections of 9 people, 1 won. And now when we had a roll call vote, you couldn't get 217.
But what is the option, Mr.
Obviously, he's very frustrated, but a lot of this frustration is of his own making. He agreed to the rule that Matt Gaetz exploited that removed him as Speaker. Had he not done that, I don't think we'd be in this quagmire right now. You kind of made your own bed and now you're lying in it. And 3 weeks later, this is what we're dealing with.
Mr. McCarthy, what is the option now? There are 26 members who are against Tom Emmert. There is no cap for him at the moment. What is the option for you guys?
All right, let's not be so negative.
Let's not be so negative. After that rant, after that venting of frustrations, let's not be so negative. You gotta love Congress. You gotta love politicians and all the doublespeak, right?
Well, you've been 3 weeks without a speaker, and you guys are nowhere near.
But I went 15 rounds. He had the first round. He's answering whatever questions somebody has, and I think some of the questions people have, they haven't given Tom the opportunity yet to even ask him that and have him answer that. And I actually think this is the best way to go about doing it. Let whoever has a difference of opinion come to the microphone, go directly to Tom and ask him the question, and Tom can answer.
So you can't resolve it
going to
then
take the needle in front of everyone?
Do you think this is going to move the needle at all with having this discussion face to face?
I'm sure hope so. I've been wrong on the last two.
How long will that possibly take, though? Airing of grievances, getting people on board, that sounds like a pretty long process if there's...
The airing of grievances. I guess Festivus has come early.
I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I just can't anymore. Congress has been reduced to a sitcom. This is where we live now, folks. This is government. But you know what? I'm kind of for a little chaos every now and then because it makes everybody uncomfortable. Leadership should be uncomfortable if the people they're attempting to lead are not with them. So while this is a public bloodletting, and I don't know if I like that part of it, I appreciate that the Republican Party is so diverse of thought, is such a big tent, that they're able to hopefully hash out differences and come together and actually get down to business again. I mean, I can dream, right, guys?
20 plus people opposed.
I don't think it's that much. So, I mean, I think he's making movement now, but look, I'm not the best judge. I don't know exactly.
Are these Jordan members who are going to get tired of this and might go and start working with Democrats to get a Republican speaker at this point?
That very well can happen, but I'll tell you, every member's tired of this. Every member's tired of those 8 who work with every single Democrat. So if your question is, are we worried that some members might go work with Democrats? That's already happened.
I would remind everybody that, yes, that had already happened, but I believe it was Speaker McCarthy who did that first in getting the continuing resolution to keep the government open passed. And after that, those 8, led by Matt Gaetz, had him removed as Speaker. So, a little bit of spin control here and maybe just a touch of sour grapes.
The 8 members worked with every single Democrat to put us in this place. So we're tired of that. Of why we're here now by those 8 who worked with every single Democrat. That is why we're where we are.
What is your option if this doesn't work?
What's going to happen today?
I don't have the option. I don't control it. Tom Emmert can decide what he's going to do, but he's listening to everybody, and that's exactly what should happen.
And he listened, and a few hours after being designated, Tom Emmert withdrew as Speaker-Designate, plunging the House GOP back to square one.
You don't have the votes. You don't have the votes.
So, take 4, everybody. Here we go. Like what you see so far? Go ahead and smash that thumbs up button. Also, leave us a comment and tell us what you're thinking. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another show. It was back to the drawing board for the GOP. They needed another Speaker-Designate, and they weren't going to stop until they had one. Here's Congressman Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin letting everybody know what was happening after Emmert withdrew as Speaker-Designate.
What do you want to know?
What's the plan? Yeah,
we're going to do it again. Another round of Speaker candidates and Speaker election.
Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one. Another one.
Like a reopened candidate list?
Yeah.
And another forum?
Forum-ish, probably shorter than normal forums, yeah.
Imminently, or?
I think around 6 p.m.
Around 6 p.m.,
yeah.
Okay. Shorter than normal?
Do they feed you guys? You guys get your food? You've been out here all day. My gosh.
Yeah, sometimes there's extra pizza from you guys.
Yeah.
But American public, I mean, at this point, people are completely confused over how the Republican Party, the Republican Conference could get in this position. How did this happen? Where are you?
My theory is this is the product of decades of institutional neglect. So if you have people that feel no loyalty to an institution like Congress because it's weak, we've gone from being the most powerful branch of government to the weakest. and they're not going to abide by the rules of conference or the norms of congressional behavior. And it just seems like, you know, if you disagree with someone on one policy position, like a lot of people disagree with Emmert's position on gay marriage, I guess, that's enough to say you won't support it for Speaker.
Now that's interesting. We're going to get to his comments about institutional neglect in a moment, but apparently one of the sticking points against Emmert was his position on gay marriage. Now, I did a little digging, and it didn't take long for me to find that Emmert is in favor of federal codification of the right to gay marriage. That probably stuck in the craw of some social conservatives in the party, and frankly, since the Supreme Court ruling in Obergefell, it is the law of the land right now, and I would just remind everybody that issues concerning marriage and matrimonial law are typically reserved to the states. So there were probably some states' rights Republicans as well who would be against that. Although I don't understand why that would be such a major sticking point. I mean, it's not really on the top 10 list of agenda points right now. I doubt it's even on the top 20 list of agenda points right now. Seems like a very nitpicky thing for members of Congress to withhold their vote for. But in today's day and age, everybody has their own purity test for politics. There used to be a time where reasonable people could agree on the majority of issues, have disagreements on others, and still get along and try to compromise and put forth good legislation and good government. Clearly, those days have passed. Now, as far as institutional decay and all that, Gallagher is spot on. Congress has legislated away many of their powers and ceded them to regulatory bodies who create their own administrative law and precedent. So in that respect, Congress has lost a lot of power, but they've given away a lot of power as well. And I think that might have been the point that Matt Gaetz was talking about, a return to normal order. So you don't have to worry about omnibus spending bills and having leadership decide everything and taking more power away from members of Congress in general. But I guess that's a point for a whole other set of videos.
We can't operate that way as a party. Like we're a Big Ten party. You're never going to agree 100% with anybody. Yeah. Hi, how are you?
I'm good.
How's your baby?
She is good, and the toddler is great.
Everybody knows each other on the Hill.
Democrats had basically the same margins last Congress, and they passed trillions of dollars of their priorities. Why are Republicans so different?
Well, Pelosi ruled with an iron fist. People feared her. The Republican Party is a little bit different. Actually,
that's very true. There is no one to fear in the Republican Party because one member of the Republican Party can cause a Speaker of the House to be ousted.
I think, on balance, it's a feature, not a bug, of the Republican Party that we have like room for dissent, and it isn't like a top-down leadership model, but I don't know, we got to coalesce around. As a representative from Green Bay, the Republican representative from Green Bay, it pains me to ask this question, but I'm not sure who sucks at team sports more right now, the Packers or the House Republican Caucus.
Ain't that the truth? Eventually, we got a new Speaker designate. Number 4 is Mike Johnson from Louisiana. And in a show of solidarity and support, there was this press conference late on Tuesday. Let's check it out, shall we? Oh, it's a pep rally atmosphere. It looks like we finally got ourselves a speaker. I hope. Who knows what's going to happen today? Aren't we all so happy? One big happy family.
You good, TV?
I just saw a new political joke just be born right now. How many members of Congress does it take to screw in a microphone? Apparently, the entire GOP caucus, after many, many rounds of voting.
Probably when the audio gets fixed, yeah.
What color do you have in you?
That's it.
2400.
Put tab A into slot B. There you go. Way to go.
We want to thank all the press for waiting. It's been quite a process.
What?
Democracy is messy sometimes, but it is our system. This conference that you see, this House Republican majority is united.
Is it? Is it really? It's only going to take one to cause more disunity again. I don't think, and I could be wrong on this, and I'm going to rely on you guys to kind of help me out here. I don't think that the rules that were adopted at the beginning of this Congress can be changed without Democrat support. So that rule where one member of the majority can put in a motion to vacate will still exist under Mike Johnson, should he get the votes later today. Your guess is as good as mine as what's going to happen here, but you gotta like the plucky optimism here, right?
I'm honored to have the support of my colleagues, and what they understand about this is servant leadership. We're going to serve the people of this country. We're going to restore their faith in this Congress, this institution of government. America is the last best hope of man on the earth. Abraham Lincoln said it, Ronald Reagan used to remind us all the time, and we're here to remind you of that again. We're going to restore your trust in what we do here. You're going to see a new form of government, and we are going to move this quickly. This group here is ready to govern. We're going to govern well. We're going to do what's right by the people.
Okay, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. But hey, that's just my opinion, guys. I want to know what you think. Are you optimistic for Speaker Mike Johnson? Do you think he's going to make it through the rounds of voting? How many rounds is it going to be? Is it going to be just one round? Again, your guess is as good as mine here. By the time you're watching this video, you may know how many rounds it took. You may know if Mike Johnson made it to become Speaker of the House. At this point, as I'm making this video the night before, again, your guess is as good as mine. But leave a comment anyway. I want to know what you think about this entire debacle. And while you're at it, please subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, share the show with your friends, all that really, really good stuff. And let's have a conversation about all of these shenanigans and buffoonery that we saw yesterday and every day this week in DUMBmocracy. Godspeed, Mike Johnson.
All views and opinions expressed here are not necessarily of the mainstream media and may offend some listeners. It's called political buffoonery.